So here's a peer assessment tool that you can give your students that they can use to assess one another. The coach can assess their partner using this tool, and the individual in the conversation can also use it as a self-assessment tool. You would just have to change the sentences, the sentence structure on this tool to make it I instead of my partner. But again, you can see that some of the features or some of the key elements that a coach will look for in their partner as they're having their discussion is, of course, preparation. Is the partner prepared? Do they have questions ready to discuss in the conversation? Accountable talk. Is the partner using accountable talk and setting a positive example for others? Are they furthering the conversation in meaningful ways and encouraging others to contribute to the conversation? Furthermore, some other categories would include questioning, which would be the partner being able to ask questions related to the topic and allow other students to respond, as well as elaborate on that question. Use of evidence, the partner being able to use various pieces of evidence from the text or from other sources to support their ideas and elaborate on their thinking, as well as make connections to other texts or even other historical examples that have been discussed in class. And last but not least, historical accuracy, the students being able to understand and refer to the historical event or concept accurately, being able to relate it to other events or other concepts, and using strong analysis while they're discussing the topic. So you can see the peer assessment tool has 4 levels, and this is something that, again, you can play with and you can adjust according to your class, but it's a great way to get students thinking about what a high quality discussion looks like, sounds like. And another strategy you can use is to record this, whether it be, again, in person. You can have a paraprofessional record it using a camera or their cell phone, and then allow the students to watch it back and see their performance. You can even record it on a Google Meet, and then again, post it after on your Google Classroom and allow students to view back the conversation, listen back to it, almost like an instant replay like they would see in a sports game, allowing them to reflect on their progress, reflect on their participation and performance in the Socratic Seminar, and really grow as reflective thinkers. And you as the teacher considering that metacognitive piece to their development as 5th graders moving into middle school. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to pull up for you an example of a template that I use with my students, and this is something, again, that you can adapt, but this is a template that you can certainly use with your 5th grade students for a Socratic seminar. That would start off with the student's name up top, then their coach's name, and the coach's name would be the individual that is going to type into this Google Doc to give them feedback as they're having the conversation in the virtual platform or in person. They can fill in the topic, the focus question that's being discussed. And now, while the student is in the conversation, the coach can type things here to their partner in live real time by sharing the Google Doc with one another. And they can then have feedback in live time as the Socratic seminar is occurring, where they can quickly use this feedback to be able to jump into the conversation and be able to improve their performance rather than having to wait for that coaching moment between the 2 sessions. This blue box is a great way to allow for that instant feedback for the students to improve. The student who's in the conversation will have previously prepared questions and claims or ideas about this topic. This would bring in that element of preparation that the students will have completed. And now these are also some sample open-ended question stems that students can use to create questions and pose questions about their thinking around the topic being discussed. Now, this section in green is for the peer coach, who, again, has access to this Google Doc because the partner would have shared it to their coach. They would have had to have access to one another's Google Docs for the Socratic seminar. And what the peer coach will do is, as they're listening to their partner engage in the conversation, they can simply put an X, or they could put a check or whatever symbol they would want in the box to note how many times their partner might have done these things in the discussion. One strategy I've had students use is that for the first round of conversation, they put a 1. And then for the second round of conversation, they put a 2. So let's say maybe in the first round, their partner only spoke once. And during the coaching moment, that was a piece of feedback that the coach gave to the partner saying, I really want you to try to participate more. Don't be afraid to get out there and share your thoughts. And then in the second round, the partner speaks 3 times. We could add in 3 twos to show how they really improved from round 1 to round 2. Here are some other things that the coach can look for. If the student is looking at the person who's speaking, giving them the eye contact, referring to a text, asking a question, responding to another speaker, or in some cases, interrupting another speaker, right? Having that behavior that might distract from having a strong conversation, as well as possibly engaging in a side conversation, not really focusing on the main discussion or topic at hand. And now here's where the peer coach could give their feedback for that coaching moment, where they're going to offer a piece of feedback. It could be a glow and a grow for the peer to then use for round 2 of their discussion. And last but not least, here is the peer coaching feedback rubric that I went over earlier that the coach can look at. And something that they could do is that at the end of the period or at the end of the discussion, they can go through and they can highlight how they think their partner did for each of the categories. So they can simply go through this and highlight what they think their partner, where they believe their partner fell for each of the categories. And this might be something that you would have to carve some extra time into in your class to ensure that students have time to do this. And again, the ground rules are posted at the bottom for students to refer to as needed while they're engaged in the Socratic seminar. So this, again, is a really great template for students to have in a Socratic seminar to be able to set some goals for themselves, reflect on their progress, have a coach who's helping them improve in their speaking and listening skills, but also to have a place where they can share their questions, their claims, and be ready to discuss the topic at hand. And again, this is something that then could be posted on the Google Classroom, a copy for each student, and then they would turn this in at the end of the period. Okay, teachers, I want to thank you for joining me today to learn more about conducting Socratic seminars with your class. I hope that you try to use some of the discussion prompts in this lesson to allow students to dive deeper and do this in a Socratic seminar forum. Here is a copy of the blank template that you can use with your students for Socratic seminars. If you click this link here, it will allow you to make a copy for yourself. So I'll show you that. That'll pop right up and you can then make a copy for yourself. I want to say thank you again for joining me. And last but not least, have a wonderful day.